Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. We are excited to get started with a preview of our exciting report. This report is something that I'm really excited about. It's kind of a new chapter for us. So thrilled that you all are going to be tuning in. We are going live on multiple channels, so hopefully you can see us okay. If you are tuned in, please feel free in the comments to share where you're tuned in from. Her Texas is a statewide community, so we like to show love to everybody tuned in from everywhere. So really excited that you all are going to be joining us. Um, I'm going to give you all a preview of our report, which is basically outlooks, insights, data we've collected for 2024 for women in business. A preview of it. If you registered via the event link, you will get a direct link to the report. If not, no worries, because it drops tomorrow morning on all of our social channels. So no, don't worry about that. But we're really excited to share really some great data that we've collected, but also just some important insights. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started because I want to be mindful of time, because along with giving you all a preview of this report, we're also going to be introducing you to incredible women all around the state of Texas, representing all sorts of industries. We've got 6 amazing women to let's talk about it. Let's keep it real about doing business. How was 2024? What's happened in 2025? So really excited to introduce them to y'all. Some of y'all may already recognize them. You may not, but I'm excited for us to have just a really cool conversation. We could do 2 hours talking about business for sure. Hey, Annalisa, thanks so much for tuning in, girl. And Marilla, I'm wondering what the temperature's like out there. Tell us, let us know. Hey, Maya, what's going on, girl? Thanks so much for tuning in. Rach, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope to see you soon. Excited, though, to really get started and share some important information with y'all. Please feel free to have conversation in the chat, y'all. We are a statewide community of just badass women. And if you're new to Her Texas, hopefully you will get really excited about the work that we're doing. Okay, so I'm going to quit chatting. I have notes because I get very chatty. So I want to make sure I stay, because it's supposed to be a preview. So I want to make sure I stay focused and not go over our time, because I want to make sure our ladies have tons of time to join y'all too. Okay, so as I shared today, I'm going to give you all a preview of our Women in Business 2024 Outlook and Insights. It's a preview. It's a pretty substantial report. I would say it is our first dive into data. So we started collecting data last January, actually. And the reason why was, while we love our events and love our mimosas, I really wanted us to figure out what was next level for us. And the only way we can determine the best programming, partnerships, all that good stuff, is to get information. And so this survey, our first attempt to do that, although all of the events we hosted in 2024, we were collecting data. So this big report will have the responses we got from the survey, but it will also give you all just some preview, some deeper dive inside of some of the cities we visited in 2024. And so for those that don't know, we're statewide, interconnected, and I'll explain why that's included, network created to address the unique challenges faced by women starting and scaling businesses in Texas. And I say challenge just because the state's really large, and it's hard if you don't have a big connection to know which direction to go sometimes when it comes to finding information, building a network. And so we're really excited about not just being a statewide organization, but being interconnected. And so our hope is that through content, events, memberships, and opportunities, that we are able to invest and support with each other. So we really believe and go hard in this idea of collective power of women investing in women. And we think we can reimagine this word investor too. We know that there's a traditional word of investor, an accredited investor. We know that exists. But we also know there are lots of women that are passionate about supporting, spending money with other women, and what we would consider community-led investing too. This is a really fun event in Fort Worth. I think this is at Hotel Dryce, I think. And so our platform. So we're dedicated to empowering women, pooling our resources. So we know before COVID, a lot of us really operated individually. And I think we still do though. But I think what COVID did was really put us all kind of on the same playing field because we all had to use those online tools and platforms. And so because of that, that really benefited large states like Texas because we've got 2,000 cities here and some small, some large. And so by being able to be connected is where I started to think, when I started this back in 2019, there's some magic that happens from this statewide approach. And so our mantra is we are the bank. And that is basically that we are an invest in each other. We're not just coming together. We're not just gathering. We want to gather and make a difference and make a purpose. And you can make a purpose from $5 up to $500,000. It's this collective approach is why I think is where our secret sauce is. And so some of the entities in our platform is Texas Council for Women, which some of you may have not heard about this because this is really our opportunity to bring together the business organizations, cities, universities to be in the room with us. It's kind of like we've been hosting a party, we've been dancing, getting our drink on, and we're dancing and talking to ourselves. But like the cities, companies, nonprofits, we want you to dance with us. We want to be integrated with you. We want you to hear directly for us. And so that Texas Council for Women is an opportunity for those corporate organizations, nonprofit organizations, cities to build community with us and also to do this together. Community investment, you all have probably heard about our really popular event, Fork and Femme. It is really an opportunity to eat and get our drink on, but it's also a massive opportunity to support directly women-owned businesses in our communities. The next one is going to be April 23rd. We also have another initiative that I've been quietly building. It's called Bank Her. I can tell I've gotten older. When I was in my 20s, I used to just kind of like a bull in a china shop. As I've gotten older, I've definitely been more thoughtful about what we roll out and the approach and the messaging and giving myself time as the founder and CEO to really make sure that what we put out is correct. So you all will be hearing more of that soon. Content and events, and of course, data insights. That's really kind of our newest thing that we've got into, but it's really kind of the next phase of Her Texas, that if we're bringing together these amazing women around the state of Texas, and if we're collecting all this information, what can we do with that information? Can we share it? And for us, information is power. It ensures that we are incredible partners, makes us better partners for other organizations. It also ensures that our number one responsibility is to make sure that we're providing value for our members. This theme, our year's theme for 2025 is the Year of Her. And that really means a tribute and a celebration of the women in our community. That's both our members, the women who have joined our community. We are wanting to create magic and support them in a really special way this year. But we also want to make sure that we are a lifeline, a connection point for women in the state of Texas in general. Like, we're here for you, whether you're a member or not. And so really excited about where we're headed. And I think this information is really important because it's the way we can create programs and initiatives. But more importantly, we're going to be sharing this with our local cities, our economic development organizations, as they program and plan things out too. So that, like I said, that analogy of us being in the party together, we're all kind of listening to the same music, moving ahead forward too. Because it's hard, right? That if anyone has started a business, it's really challenging. And each year is very different from the next. And so I want to share some of our values. I just think it's really important to tell you kind of what is the ethos of where we are. And you can feel it, I think, when you talk to me, of course, but I think if you come to any of our events and see the kind of content we put out, equity is really huge for us. And I think this means leveling the playing field for women, meaning every voice, every business is valued, every opportunity is accessible. That is a massive, huge goal of ours. And without equity, we can't have any of the other values. Community is a huge piece. We're stronger together. Our hope is that we are uplifting each other, supporting each other. Actually, I'm excited because one of our panelists is hanging out with a fellow member. Did not know they were going to be together, but that just brings me so much joy when our community is connecting with each other. And of course, collaboration. sharing resources, no gatekeeping, amplifying each other, right? Creating solutions. This is the only way we can be successful, because building a business is hard. And then innovation. I think this is my church. Innovation. I really like thinking ahead, thinking outside the box. I sometimes need to be reined back though. But I think this is the key for us to solve big challenges, is to come up with big solutions. Think outside the box, and that's exactly what we are trying to do here in Texas. This means it's messy sometimes, y'all. Okay, innovation's messy. It doesn't mean it's a perfect playing field, and I think this also means that our organization isn't perfect. I'm not a perfect leader. But I think what's really exciting about our organization, and I can speak on my behalf, is that we really authentically care about making a difference and making an impact. It's really important for us not just to talk about it, but to see it, to be about it. It's really important for me as a businesswoman who's also in this community with you all, but also as an organization too. Okay, so about the survey. So why did we decide to do it? Well, as I share with you all, we had been starting to collect data back in January. So every month, if you saw us out and about, we were collecting information. And so I always wanted to figure out a way to get more information, because for us, it's amplifying the voices of women in business across Texas. It's really important in the state of Texas that our leadership, our organizations hear directly from us. And they hear from a diverse pool of women. And diverse for us is age, ethnicity, geographic. It's really important that they hear directly from us, not a guess about what we need, but they hear directly from us. I think it's also important for us to acknowledge the wins. There's been a couple surprises on this survey that I was surprised about. That is good, but I was surprised. And then also uncover challenges and opportunities that everyone's facing, and find more ways to collaborate, to grow, to support each other. It matters because it's filling a critical gap and understanding the needs and experiences of women-led businesses. It's not just about what we need. You need to know about our experiences. You need to know what we go through, the evolution of starting a business, of scaling, of stopping because I had kids, or stopping and going back working. Like, this is the evolution of being a woman in business. And it's really important that our story is told. And so I'm hoping that the findings will guide efforts to create a more supportive and equitable business ecosystem too. How we'll use it, we're going to inform our city leaders, corporation, and policymakers. So this report will be sent out to most of our major and minor EDCs across the state of Texas, and several corporations as well. And then we hope, of course, as I shared earlier, to guide our programs and partnerships for 2025. If it doesn't work, we won't do it. If y'all don't want it, we won't do it. I think that's really, really important. Sometimes I think as organizations, we get into the place of we've got to do all these things. But if y'all not coming to it, if y'all don't want it, we don't want to do it. We want to provide you value. We want to make sure that you if you're going to spend your time with us, if you're going to click on something that it adds value and it makes sense for you, because it's an honor and a gift for you to even give every organization your time, especially if you have kids too. Now, as y'all know, I'm a dog mom, but Cash is just as bad as his regular kid. So being a mom, a sister, a caregiver, a dog mom, whatever, we have a lot on our plate. So it's really important that we value the time that we have with you all. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Okay, so the methodology. So we put out an online form early December. And so moving forward, how this will work is we will be putting out a survey mid-year, and then we'll have an annual. And so what I would tell you, invite you all, if you get a link or a question to fill out a survey, so please complete it. This survey, we actually didn't even get most of our community. We have a lot of individuals that took the survey that I think are probably brand new, because we also posted it on TikTok. So we had quite a few come in from that. But the survey, and I would say it's not just us, I would say a survey from most organizations, it's because they're wanting to provide you with value, programming, funding, whatever. So surveys are really, really important, because this is the information that we take to design what you need. And so we did an online form. 83.7% of responses were submitted via desktop, which I was surprised by that. 4,212 individuals viewed the form. So they got on there, they were like, I don't know if I want to do this. 2,776 completed the responses, right? So about 66% of our conversion rate. Not even our full community, right? Of everything. I would say it's probably 10% of our full community. But I still think this information is valid. It's a good starting point because those that did complete the survey gave pretty good responses and filled out and gave additional information. So we take this as kind of like our first starting point for the survey. You know, our community, we've got thousands in our community. And so my goal and hope would be that we will eventually get a bigger pool of data. But I think this is a great starting point. And I think my gut tells me that the responses we got on here and the information we got is probably what a lot of other women are going to be thinking about too. But it's still, for those that viewed it, we had a pretty high conversion rate of those that completed. So that's a good sign. 99% were women. 51% were aged 30 to 40, which I thought was interesting, and representation from across Texas. We actually got quite a few. We got some from outside of the state of Texas too, and I think that those are women that no longer live here, but are Texas women, if you think it's that way. And this survey was taken by both 100% female founder, business owner, 100% employed, and then also those that have a hybrid. I have a side hustle, or whatever. It was a mixture of all of that good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to share with you all a small sliver of the findings, just so that you can get a taste for these. As I shared, if you registered via the email or via the event link, you will get a direct link for this. Otherwise, it will be published live on all of our social channels tomorrow morning. You'll have access to it. We definitely want your feedback. Love to get your thoughts. So this is just a small preview I wanted to run through really quickly before we bring on our 6 amazing ladies. So interesting, how do you feel about the current state of women-owned businesses? Nearly half feel optimistic about the current state of women-owned businesses in Texas. This I was a little shocked by, you all, because I have a lot of direct conversations with women who said 2024 was really, really hard. So I thought this was interesting, but I have a theory, which I'll share with you in a second. How would you describe the business climate in your city for women entrepreneurs and professionals? 42% described the climate as their city specifically as supportive. 39, though, said neutral, which I believe highlights room for improvement in fostering more inclusive, empowering environments. If you're not sure, that means there's an opportunity for improvement. Do you feel you have adequate access to resources? That's funding, mentorship, networking opportunities to support your career or your business in your city. 38% somewhat satisfied. 32% said, no, I need more. And 28% said yes. What was the biggest challenges you faced in your professional life this year? Thought this was interesting. 29% finding new clients and customers. Can I get an amen on that one? Finding new clients and customers was the big chunk, followed by increasing revenue and profit. So this is our business ladies speaking heavy on this one. And then staying motivated and focused, I thought was really interesting too. And I have some thoughts on this. I took a couple of notes. And so this is interesting. It's a complex reality because while 49% of the respondents felt very optimistic, there's still a significant portion who are neutral or unsure, which means there's an untapped potential for engagement and support. And for those 9% that felt very optimistic, I think it suggests a growing confidence among some women, specifically if they do have a network. And I think 42% said that their city's climate was super supportive, which is promising. But the 39% neutral perception says there's a need for more inclusive policies, more visible support systems. And I think cities with lower perception support may benefit from targeted initiatives such as women-focused funding programs or networking opportunities. In your city, you may see tons of women-focused funding, networking, all that good stuff. There's quite a few cities that don't have that yet. And so this is, I think, a huge opportunity. And even if you do have them, is there a place for innovation? I think is a huge opportunity. Professional impact. So this was asked to our business owners. How many new clients, customers did you gain? 35% said they got 1 to 5. 6 to 10 was 20%. 14% was none. What was your estimated total revenue or income in 2024? So 35% earned between 100 and 500. And then the less than 50% was less than 50K was 33%. And I think this is interesting too. First of all, heads shout out to our ladies that did over $1 million. Okay, y'all are killing it. And excited that we have a full range, but we need more, right? We need to get more women in that category. And so increasing revenue and profit is a top challenge, underscores the pressures that we as women business owners are facing. And I think what this means is we need more access to more funding solutions and grant opportunities. That's a full stop, right? We need more. And her text is, we just launched our very first one. We just dipped our toe in the water with this last fall. This is something we're excited about doing. It's an opportunity for companies to collaborate with us if they're looking to provide more funding and want to get in front of a diverse group. But business education, specifically focusing on scaling and financial management, I think is really huge. Sometimes I think the feedback I get is that there's a lot of information out there, but it's very kind of intro to financial management. Let's build something big, let's build something great, but we'll need the tools to do so. And I think finding new clients reflects the importance of equipping businesswomen with marketing and networking tools to expand their reach. So digital marketing workshops, referral programs, I think could be huge game changers. But I'm curious for y'all in the comments, how's your 2024? How was it? On a scale of 1 to 10, if y'all could leave in the comments. 10, it was off the chain, incredible. You are so excited about all that happened in 2024. 1, don't ask me, Jasmine, why are you even bringing it up, girl? We forgot about 2024. 5, it was all right. Let me know in the comments, how was your 2024? And it's okay if it was incredible, by the way, and it's also okay if it was horrible. That is the nature of of being a business person, right? Ebbs and flows. So let me know in the comments how your 2024 was. I'm excited to hear how it went. Yes, that's right. Okay. Misha, yep, girl, I was feeling that as well. Ooh, okay, Jocelyn. Yes, I love this. Okay. Same. Same. Girl. I've oscillated. Same. 2024 gave me a run for my money. It really did. Okay. Anybody have any tens? Okay, Jocelyn, I think you might be our top one. Because 2020. Oh, okay, Leah. Yay. I can't wait to hear about your year. But I'm excited to know that there was some growth for some of us in 2024, which is exciting, right? That's exciting to hear about that. Kim, okay, 7. All right, that's actually good. I'm excited to hear that there was some growth for some of us, but I will tell you that just because you didn't have growth in 2024 does not mean you can't have it in 2025. That is the nature of being an entrepreneur, right? It's the part of the exciting exciting journey. Okay, last up, before I bring on our ladies, collaboration and networking. I wanted to bring this conversation up because this is really, I think her text is sweet sauce. It's our special sauce. Is this idea of doing business outside of where we live. And so I inherently, as a hustler and someone who grew up with not a lot of money, and also too, when I started my very first business on my own, I've always gone out and tried to look outside of what I had, because I had to. And it's what my parents taught me too. You've got to go out there and find your own opportunities, Jasmine. They will not come to you. This is what I've been ingrained with. And so this idea of me going outside of where I'm based in Dallas was nothing. So I'm like, there's an opportunity in New York. Let's do it. This is just the way I'm hungry for it, and also realize how hard it is to find opportunities. But we did ask this question in 2024. Did you visit or do business in a city outside the one you work in? I thought this was a huge percentage to share too, right? That 62% of us were doing business. And these are the top cities where we were doing business in. It was a bunch on the list, but these are the ones I think that got the most mentions. Was Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, but New York showed up a couple times, you guys, which I thought was really fascinating. And it goes to show that this is the era where we're in, right? A lot of us, if you've got an online business, you're not confined to just where you are. Would you like to do more business and collaborate with women professionals in other cities across Texas 2025. 97% said yes. And I think why this is so important to think about is that with 62% of the respondents doing business outside their city, there's a clear appetite for statewide connections, which is that's our jam. Expanding cross-city initiatives could foster collaboration and bring new opportunities. So this idea, if you're a businesswoman tuned in, yes, I know it's the driving sometimes challenging. And yes, I know you may not be a car person, but I can tell you all that I'm a living testament to this. And I know we've got women in our community that are also living testaments. If you're open to getting outside of your city, there's so much opportunity for collaboration and new opportunities. You have to plan for it though, too, especially if you've got kids or you're working full time, right? But if you can plan this year to decide that I'm going to do business, I'm going to try to network outside of the city I am in, it's magic for it. But I also think this is for cities and organizations to think about this too. A lot of times as city leaders and EDCs, we're really focused on our cities, which naturally that's our responsibility. And a lot of times our funding's tied to it. But I think this is an opportunity for us to figure out, can we think outside the box? And more importantly, we, as the one of the questions shows, is that people want to, those that took the survey want to do business and collaborate with women in other cities. So maybe positioning your city as a place for those that aren't in your city to come and do business in, I think could be really, really exciting. And I think it's also suggests a desire for more collaboration. The overwhelming 97% want to collaborate more, shows that women recognize the value of partnerships and networks in driving success. And I think Her Texas is really built for that statewide. And I think as we continue to grow as an organization, we will have more platforms and more opportunities. One of the things I'm really excited about is a new program that we're rolling out. It's called Her Matches, and it's really just a reflection of, I rolled the membership out in August. We took it a year. I was like, okay, what sucks? What works great? what do we need to tweak? And I think I started to think about myself as a businesswoman. I know when I've joined organizations, it can be overwhelming. I'm an introvert, which people never believe. But even me, it becomes stressful, like going out trying to find new connections. Now, it's not hard for me, of course, because Her Texas is a big network. But just in general, it's still, if you're not someone who's a heavy networker, even though you've joined an organization, you need a little bit of help. And so Her Matches is our quarterly matching program for our members that I'm just so excited about, that it will connect you. Every quarter, you'll get 3 new matches, 1 local for you, but to the statewide piece, the 2 others will be outside of your city, because I think this is where the magic is for us to start to visualize ourselves as a statewide sisterhood, a statewide community to make some money. Okay, so I'm wrapping up with you all as I share. If you registered via Eventbrite, you will get a direct link to the report. Otherwise, it's going to be published on all of our social channels on Friday morning. We're doing something a little different. Normally, we have rolling membership for Her Texas, but this year we're being really intentional. And our hope is that we are wanting to heavy focus on our members. And the only way we can do that is to make sure we have tons of time to create magic with them. And so for the first time, we have a specific period for you to join. We also think it's a great way to plan out. And so from March 1st to April 5th, that is your opportunity to join Her Texas for 2025. We're being very focused and intentional because we want to create really incredible, intentional moments for y'all to make money, to build your network. That's really, really important. Us sitting up, hanging out is cool, but at the end of the day, we're here to move the needle forward when it comes to our careers, our visions, our dreams, and our pockets, right? And our wallets. Like, this is important. I'm in much better condition to network and have mimosas when I'm making money. I don't know if y'all are the same way. So our enrollment period will be March 1st to April 5th. That is the only time you'll have to join Her Texas. You'll get immediately enrolled into our Her Matches program, which I'm so excited about. There will be an information session in February, so I'm excited about that. If you want access to anything, y'all, go to Linktree Her Texas. Some of our links are there. Questions, anything you need, email us. And then we're rolling out for the first time a book club, you all. I'm so excited about it. It is for everybody to join us, but it's also some of our members that already kind of reading. We were all talking about it, but this is a very cool book, A Renaissance of Our Own. It is an incredible way to start the new year. And so everyone can join it. It's free for members, $5, y'all. And that $5 is being donated to our Her Texas Fund. So $5 if you're not a member, free for members. And our first book club meeting will be, I think it's March 2nd. I might be messing that up. If you click that link, you'll find out. But thank y'all so much for tuning in to, yes, Lindsay, I can definitely share. Actually, I think we have something sharing about this soon, Lindsay, but let me think about that. But yeah, the information on the enrollment should be coming out. I think it's today or tomorrow. Okay, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and stop talking and bring on our panel. Now, this event, y'all, just give y'all a heads up. We had it ending at 11:45. I want to let these ladies chat. So we're going to definitely try to be done by 11:55-ish. But if you got the scoop, that's okay. But I want to make sure y'all get to meet them. They get a chance to really give you some perspective. We've invited women from around the state, but we also wanted to have different industries being represented, which I think is really, really important. And so I'm going to bring them on, have them introduce themselves for a minute, and then we're going to really get in a deep dive of a conversation. Okay, so I am seeing, let's see who's logged in here. MK.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello, Maggie.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Hanging in there.
Darlene. Ooh, look at that backdrop.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Carla, the boss herself. Yes. Okay. Leah, new friend Leah. Oh, Leah's got a cute backdrop too. Hey.
Thank you.
Every time I get on calls, I feel like I need to redo my backdrop. And last but not least, my Scorpio sister, Sarah. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
How are y'all? Okay, so I want to get deep dive in this conversation. So I want y'all to go around. We'll start with you, MK. Introduce yourself. Tell us kind of what you do. And excited to get this chat going on with you all.
Hi, everybody. I'm MK Bomi, and I'm a coach and consultant that works with executive leadership and career clients. And then I'm also a talent management consultant. So everything in a company that would start from when a company is looking to attract talent to when they're hiring, onboarding them, performance reviews, offboarding them, the full circle of life of an employee in a business. So, and I'll pass it to Maggie.
Hey, everybody. My name is Maggie. I am located in Houston, Texas, and I am one of the co-founders of Sesh Co-working. We are the only co-working space in Texas for women, communities of color, as well as the LGBTQ plus community. We also happen to be the largest in the state. So if you happen to be in Houston and you need a place to work, hit me up.
Yay.
Good morning, ladies. My name is Darlene, and I am the owner of Jane & Jensen Vintage. I'm also very much part of our large event community here in El Paso. I host monthly markets and community events. I now participate in our downtown management district committee. So we bring marketing events and truly trying to elevate our community downtown and in El Paso. El Paso is as large as your guys' cities, but we have a small town mentality still.
And you're on a different time zone.
I'm out here. I'm way out west. So yeah, we get a little bit of New Mexico. We're very close to our border. We're right across Juarez, Chihuahua. So we're really diverse up here.
Yay.
Hey everyone, my name is Carla Erskine. I'm the founder of Bossingly. I am a productivity and work-life balance coach. And so I help women balance the work and life and all the things in between. I have a book I just launched called Balancing Acts, and it is about intentional action, using routines to create more time in your day so that you can truly create the life that you love. I'm based here in Dallas, Texas. I have been a Her Texas member since the very beginning, and I'm excited to do more with them as they grow.
Yeah, Carla knows too much. Okay, Leah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Leah Wise. I am a lawyer. I'm based here in South Texas. I started my law firm back in 2016. So I've been doing this for about 8 years. I also started a clothing line 2 years ago. And I also have a real estate investment company, which sounds way crazier than what it is. I only have 4 investment properties. So,
Just
so
4.
I'm dabbling in real estate. And then I'm actually starting a co-working space down here in South Texas. It's called
Cool.
Workwise. So we're hoping to open up in the next month or 2.
Now, what part of South Texas are you in?
The Rio Grande Valley. So if you're familiar with South Padre Island, McAllen, Edinburgh, Brownsville, this entire border region of Texas.
Okay, and you just got a shout out from your girl Renee.
Oh, I love you, Renee.
MK did too. Hey.
Oh, thanks. Hi, Misha. Hello.
Okay, Sarah, last but not least, tell us a little bit about your biz.
Okay, my name is Sada. I'm located here in Plano, Texas, and I've also been a Her Texas member from the very beginning. I love the community and super excited about the mentorship and the guidance that Her Texas has to offer. I co-own a roofing and construction company, Roof Raiders & Co. I handle all the marketing and sales, but a big part of what we are doing is creating flexible career opportunities for women in the construction space, specifically for stay-at-home moms, because that's how I got started. And it's just really good money, and it's something you could do with your kids at home. And I'm just excited to really change the landscape of a male-dominant industry.
Yes, I love that. Okay, y'all, so let's dive into 2024. How was your 2024, the good, bad, and the cray-cray? I'm going to start with you, Carla. Give us a brief little description of your 2024. What was your winnings? What sucked?
Right. So let's start with 2023. 2023 was a transition in my business. I have been operating this business since 2018. And so I did a big pivot in 2023, and it was kind of that time of reinvention. And so 2024, I was probably my lowest revenue year because it was a lot of restructuring and building. And as you know, I ended the year though, personally, for as the business, it was probably the highest year, one of the highest years in far as development is concerned. But revenue wise, it was probably my lowest year. And I'm totally okay with that because I was in the building phase. And so, I ended the year with a big book launch, which is, I feel is going to be set me up for a much more productive and profitable 2025.
Love that. What about you, Maggie? How was your 2024?
Whew, y'all, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. We opened our co-working space in February of 2020, and then we grew.
I did not know that, Maggie.
Yeah, so we grew from 2,000 square feet to 21,000 square feet. And 2024 was our first year operating at full capacity for the first floor and the second floor. We also had, it was like one of our first time firing people. It was just like a lot of team growth, right? And then of course I ended 2024 really ill, ended up in the hospital.
Oh no.
Very lucky to be here. So I feel like I'm starting out 2025 on the top. So I am really looking forward to this year and having a good team in place versus last year.
We could have a whole conversation on the firing thing, Maggie.
I mean, I feel like half the struggle when you build a team is managing the team, right? Not just like the operations and the revenue generation, but it's like managing the team, especially our team. At one point, we had 4 different generations on the team. And so that's different. So.
Well, I'm glad you're here and I'm glad you're doing well too. I did not know that about you. I'm so glad to see you and that to hear you too.
I just came back last week. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'm giving you a hug. I don't know if you're a hugs person, Maggie.
I am.
Okay. I'll hug you too when I hopefully get to see you. So glad to see you and hear you too. MK, 2024. And I know you're blunt like me. Let us know.
All right. So the slogan was more in 2024, and I did more of pretty much everything. Okay. And I like to think about it like a smorgasbord. I was like, let's try this, see if this works. Let's try this, see if this works. Let's try this. Right. And so a lot of try, and a lot of more in 2024. So 2025 for me, is thrive in 2025, because I think we've kind of figured out a little bit of like what's working, and then need to shift to where I want to put my focus and concentrate there, and maybe on one or two things instead of the 15 to 20 that I looked at my spreadsheet and I was like, oh, I wouldn't recommend this to a client. What am I doing to myself right now? So, yeah, so it was very interesting, but I ended up ending the year okay from a revenue perspective because I set my goal very low, intentionally, right?
Yeah.
My first solid year out on my own, and set the goal low. And so I did okay. But I would like to set that a little bit higher in 2025. So I'm working on that goal right now to see if we can thrive a little bit. So,
Okay.
yeah.
For more to thrive. I like that. Darlene, 2024. I know you've had some changes happen.
Yeah.
Or happening.
Last time that I saw you, actually a year ago, I was opening my now 4th location, and closing it. It was
Yes, exactly.
I know. But it's one of those things that I think every year that I've been in business now, I went in full force. I didn't even really think about it. I didn't even have a business plan. That's something that I've learned this year. We have a great here in El Paso. 21 of them. They have an amazing workspace right now that you said, Matt, that you said you had a workspace where people can go and, utilize the space. It's primarily as well. So they're amazing. They've helped me out so much in realizing what I did wrong. I think that was the 2024. It was more learning business wise. I've also built boundaries this year because I'm such a people pleaser, and I was so scared of pushing potential relationships that would benefit the business and benefit, but they turn out not to. So I think 2025 is going to be all about managing that work life. My kids were really little when they started. It's been about 3 years now. So I have a daughter that's going to and here, and she has the whole after school stuff. My son wants to join all kinds of sports. He's 6. So it's that balance that I struggled with at the very end. But this year was hard. Many El Paso businesses, there are countless that closed December 31st. It was a little eulogy that of all these businesses that closed down, and I felt like, okay, well, we're kind of in the same boat. What can we do so 2025 is better for these small businesses? So that's kind of where I'm focusing, like, how can we make it better? What are the steps that I need to do now as a business, not just something that I'm so passionate about, because I sell vintage items. So all of these mirrors, this is my house. I love vintage, but it grew into a community that I wanted to elevate. So there's a lot of small businesses that I've tried to bring up with me, because I figured if I'm coming up, I can bring in people with me. So that's going to be kind of the focus for 25.
Yeah, I think it's so important too to be okay with doors closing, because I think, the society would tell us going bankrupt, not making revenue, getting divorced, all these things that are perceived as negative are actually. I know you, but I think it's like the perception of real growth and real business happens when you start to close those doors, and like being okay with that, and knowing, Darlene, lots of people tune in right now have had to say goodbye to something in 2024. They had to, because that's the only way things are going to start. And I feel like you feel lighter to me. So I'm excited to hopefully see you soon too. You seem lighter to me for sure. Okay, Sada, 2024 wins. What was good? What was not so good?
Okay, so I talked to you a little bit about this before, but like my mantra, the last quarter of the year, the first half of the year was horrible. I was getting sick a lot. I was trying to do everything all at once. Then I realized, like, I can do anything, but not everything. So that's kind of been like the pace I'm doing this year. I had a lot of things going on top of being a mom, which is like the hardest job I've ever had in my entire life. Hats off to all stay-at-home moms. I just felt like I needed to prove something to myself after getting laid off my corporate job at 40 weeks pregnant. I launched a nonprofit. I launched my own consulting company in the marketing space. And then I simultaneously launched this business with my husband, the roofing and construction. And so I was like being unfair to everything in my life, including myself. So just stretching myself out too thin. And it wasn't until the end of the year I landed the biggest client I've ever got in my consulting company. And I was like, holy shit, like, yeah, I can do this, but I don't want to do this. So my contract ended and I realized like, I just want to focus on one thing at a time and kind of overflow into that and then start working on other pieces in my life, because I can't do it all at once.
So true.
I mean, I could, and I did, but I was burning myself out and I was getting sick and I was just not in a good place mentally. So
your body will tell you quickly. Okay, so you got a little love, Maggie, a little heart from Ashley. Okay, Leah, I want you to tell us how your 2024, and then I also want you to tell us about, let's get into some of these questions. Of course, our time is running by so fast. So how was your 2024? And then are there any policies, resources, initiatives that you like to see more of to support women in business here in Texas? Got a double question.
So I'll be fast on the first question. I will say that 2024 was my best year ever in my law firm. Best revenue. Thank you. Best revenue of all time in the 8 years I've been in business. But as entrepreneurs know, you can be flying high in the morning and then by noon you're like, everything's horrible, everything sucks. And then in the evening, you experience another win, and it's just a constant roller coaster of wins and losses. And it can be in the course of just one day, which is crazy. That's just the life of an entrepreneur. So my law firm's doing great. 2024 was our best year ever. My real estate investment company, on the other hand, we have a multi-million-dollar construction project, renovation project going on. So we're not producing any revenue there. We're definitely operating at a loss. So owning and running 4 different companies, it's like, okay, one company is doing great, one's not doing so great, and it's a constant flux. As my team is growing, I'm learning a lot about managing employees. Like Maggie said, that in itself is just emotionally taxing. It takes, I think as women, because we're so empathetic, it takes so much out of us. Whereas my husband, who's also a business owner, he's just so like, let's just make decisions about employees, no emotions involved. And I can't be that way. I'm like, how can I support my team, make sure they're getting everything done, meeting their KPIs? And so that for me in 2024 was the most emotionally taxing thing for me, even though our revenue is the best it's ever been. Okay, second question, resources, policies, and things that I would like to see more of. Okay, so I have a unique perspective because I live on the border, very, very low income area. There's not a ton of money to go around for very many businesses and people. Very few mentors for young women. Very few examples of what a successful business owner looks like. So I would love to see more funding put towards, I know that funding is a big thing for me, and I've never secured funding other than from the bank, right? But I've never been able to secure funding just for being, a woman-owned business. I'd love to see more funding for minority-owned women businesses, because as minorities, we don't have role models. We don't have examples. I didn't know a single female lawyer until I was an adult. Growing up, I didn't know a single female lawyer, much less a Latina lawyer. I would love to see more funding specifically for minority-owned businesses, women businesses.
Yeah, and I think this is in the report we did. It's this. We have some recommendations, and I think this is where corporations need to kind of step up. So I think this is the piece, right? We know we've got our traditional financial institutions, but we've got companies here who I think could definitely partner and create some more funding opportunities. It's been fascinating to see. Of course, we'd love a blank check, but I've also seen too, things can change with $5,000. Things can change with $10,000. I mean, I bet y'all can spend $5,000 like that. Like anything. Hi.
Who's that?
Anything, the effort would be really, really helpful too. MK, what about you? What policies, resources, initiatives do you think we need to see more of here in the state or in the city you're in?
Well, I'm actually agreeing with Leah, because one of the things that I noticed when I was partnering with people this year and helping them as they were growing their business, going through the trials and tribulations, trying to find the money to hire the right talent that they needed in their organization, despairingly, I noticed that when it came to women who are diverse, the funding options went down exponentially. And so that was something that was glaringly obvious to me, where I myself might have had some opportunities. It wasn't there. And I also do think the micro, I forgot the term for it that we use, but it's like micro dosing, right? When we're talking about it, it's the small grants. Sometimes, there are these grants that are for 50,000, but then you have to have this contingency. And it's like, look, I need an unrestricted operational something that can cover off on those months where you just didn't make it work and you've got a credit card to pay or whatever. So I think a lot more unrestricted resources that are really about the sustainability of the business and providing those tools back to those of us that are starting up, and specifically to the challenges that diverse women are seeing in their markets, would be phenomenal. And I think from the training that I went to at the end of the year, that was Her Texas, we talked about a lot of that in the training. And so for me, more of what we did at the end of the year is what I'm looking for. So,
well, and first of all, yeah, and I think MK too, I think being an incredible ally. We know that Texas is a diverse place, but we know who's moving the state forward when we see our numbers as Latina, Black and brown women. And so I think it also ensure we need all women to speak up for everyone. So even you, MK, you saw what was available. You're like, okay, there was things for me, but not for her. If more of us, and especially more of like white women, I think in the state spoke up and advocated for each other, this is the way we because this is the only way we can survive and move forward. So MK is an ally. I've seen MK go off and do all kinds of stuff on Facebook. So she lives and walks the walk. She wants us all to succeed too. Darlene, what about you? If you could do a magic wand, like what would make El Paso the perfect place, if it's not already, but what would be amazing to help your business grow in 2025?
You know what? We're a border city too, and I feel like that has a lot to do with our economy. But bringing it back to bigger cities, and I think what they're doing and business models that we maybe should adapt. We should definitely have more education. So maybe certifications that will have like a woman-owned business certification, so that you can use that to stand out and like procuring these like small microloans and stuff like that. Most of our businesses here are micro businesses. So those are like the people that like myself own it and run it. I'm there every day. If I'm not there, it's not open. Tax incentives would be amazing, because we don't get enough tax incentives as a small business. And it's going to get a little worse. I'm not getting all political in here, but it's going to get a lot worse for people like us that have smaller businesses this year and are getting under 360,000 a year. El Paso, our median is like 40,000 a year. So we're not we're not making a lot. There is wealth here and there is opportunity, but we're just not getting in there because we don't get that. And just like NK said, like even 5,000, or like you said, even 5,000 would be amazing just to get by, to get to that next step. We're not looking for huge loans. So that would be amazing if we could get some kind of certification, get more education, so that we can take these little networking classes, business models that we need to adapt, training programs that we need to maybe go to, just so that we can continue supporting each other with each other,
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. And I'm so thankful to have you and Leah on, because I think the border is a huge topic right now. We need to have a part 2. And actually, Leah has an incredible video we're going to be sharing. And darling, some like being a business is political. Like I think we can have conversations and not get like all crazy, but it is political, like because they impact our families, our kids. And if you're in a border town, it's going to impact you. So she had a really great video of just getting the conversation going. And it's so important to have that discussion. And there's resources in your city. But one of the things I've discovered and being kind of part of this organization and leading it is that a lot of us don't know what's in our city. And I think that's what we really wanted to help too, is those cities, those EDCs that have programs and initiatives to help get the word out. Okay, so Sarah, I want to ask you if you could wave your magic wand and make things amazing. What would be helpful for you for 2025?
Oh my gosh, so many things. But I want to start with saying I'd like to see more structured mentorship programs that connect like successful women business owners with aspiring entrepreneurs. I think that makes such a big difference. And there's a lot of initiatives, but nothing is really like structured or concrete or in a way where they see things through.
Mhm.
I'd also like to see more targeted funding programs for women, like microloans and grants and venture capital, but also like the educational part of it too. Like you said, like sometimes we don't know what we don't know. So just learning about that and then getting access to it would be really great.
Perfect. I love that. Now, I agree with you, Krishna, this idea of border economy. And because we've only got a few minutes, we're going to give everyone a chance to give a final thought and ask Carla her thoughts too. Um, um, First of all, what are y'all's thoughts on us hosting conversations like this on a monthly, quarterly basis? This is helpful, valuable if we get a group together. Of course, we only had 30 minutes or so today, but if you could share in the comments, if this helpful, if we bring together women from around the states just to have a general conversation, if you could let us know. And I agree with you about having this conversation of border. I went to El Paso for the first time last year, and I was like mind blown. It's a different place, and I loved it, but completely different from the world I've had and the business I've lived in Dallas. It's so important for us to build those connections. Carla, what about you? What policies, resources do you think are needed in this state? And then final thoughts too. Any final thought? If there's someone tuned in, let's give some inspiration, some coaching. Any final thoughts as we wrap up?
I, of course, echo everything the ladies have already said. But one of the things for me, since I've been on both sides of the fence when it comes to being a full-time entrepreneur and someone who is a dualpreneur or a side hustler, is that when there's this gap between those two worlds, right? So when I am a full-time entrepreneur, there's a lot more access to workshops and networking events throughout the city. But when you're trying to balance that with a full-time job, there's not a lot going on at 5. It's like entrepreneurship and business, it shuts down, which is understandable. So I'd like to see more programming targeted to those who are still building and working a 9 to 5, so that they can eventually get to the place where they can transition, if they so desire, to full-time entrepreneurship. I think a lot of women, especially women of color and Black women, they are regulated in a way that they can't cross over into that full-time successful entrepreneurship, because they're trying to balance the side hustle with the full-time employment. And so that leaves very limited opportunities to grow and develop the business. So I'd love to see more things being offered to people who are interested in growing their businesses, but after 5. Final thoughts. I'm excited about the year, even with everything that's going on in the world, in the world globally. The global economy is struggling. I was just reading an article, and it was talking about New Zealand, how they're losing so many residents because their economy is just not able to sustain it with job growth. They're having negative job growth. So I don't know if people are realizing what's going on in the global economy and how that affects us as business owners here locally in the U.S. and in Texas. So I'd like to just encourage everyone that with everything going on, there's still an opportunity for us to grow and be successful. So I'm excited about the year.
Love that. And some feedback. This is helpful to hear multiple perspectives. Thanks so much, Dina, for sure. Jocelyn, I agree with you. I think we're definitely going to need community now more than ever. I really like Renee's thoughts too on this too. So she's saying she worked in healthcare. It was upsetting to have the RGV populace compared to parts of DFW and Austin. The border regions are our own beautifully diverse spaces. I agree with that completely. And I think it's this idea of us being this unified state and us celebrating. But I think if more of us traveled there, they would feel it. Because I know the minute I went to Brownsville, RGV, I was like, yes, I need to get my Spanish on though. Immediately, I was like, I need to get my Spanish on. But I loved it. The people, the leadership, everybody was just so cool. El Paso the same way too. So I think border conversation is definitely going to be there. Okay, so final thoughts, because we're a little bit over, but that's okay though. I think this was amazing and magical for sure. Maggie, final thoughts, inspiration, advice, strategy you want to share with, because there's a lot of people tune in from all over.
So I echo everyone else's sentiments about the funding, but the one thing that I can tell you is that our Texas legislature is in session right now. They are only in session every 2 years. If you want those changes for those microloans who are backed by the universities, who are given money from the state, who is making anti-DEI laws, you have to call your local representatives, whether it's your House representative or your Texas state senator, and tell them. They take notes of all the calls and emails that they receive. And when they go on the floor to fight anything that's not supporting people of color, women, or small businesses, they have statistics that are saying, my constituents are calling me and they're concerned with XYZ. If you don't do that, we cannot drive the change. So that is like my one big key takeaway is they are all in Austin right now. We need to be blowing them up to be driving the change that
Is there
want.
email that we can like forward so that we can all forward it at the
So
same time?
you can just, it depends on what district that you live in as to who yours is, right? And so you just need to find out what district you live in and then go to their website. And their websites a lot of times have like send them an email right there on it and or your phone number so you can just call them.
Huge point, Maggie. And I think that's, one of the things that I've had, Texas has always been non-political. It's always been very focused on business. But I was talking to one of my mentors and she said, Jasmine, when you wake up as a woman, it's political. Like it's political. And it doesn't mean it has to get into this crazy, nasty conversation, but everything, being aware of what's happening, running a business and trying to make money in a state and not being aware of things that could impact your ability to scale and grow is the issue we have here. So for her Texas, we definitely want to have more conversations. And I think it may be something where we maybe start to gather some of that content, to your point, Darlene, and make it easier too. So I love that point. Thank you so much, Maggie. Okay, MK. Actually, I'm going to share real quick. I saw Chandra, who's with Texas Women's Foundation. Yes, girl. Would love to connect with you all. If you don't know about Texas Women's Foundation, incredible organization, a nonprofit helping women, children across the state of Texas. A great organization for y'all to support. Lindsay, just say less, girl. Let's go. Let's go to RGB. Let's go.
I'm in.
Are you in too? Okay. Final thoughts, strategy, advice, whatever you want to share with everyone as we close out.
Don't forget, when you have a success, somebody else needs to know that information. So reach back and pull the next person forward with you, with what you've learned. The quicker that we're able to disseminate this information out there and help everybody, that's where together we all rise.
Amazing. Darlene, last piece of advice, quick advice, strategy, anything you want to share? Inspiration?
A lot of us might be micro businesses, but we don't have micro hopes and we don't have micro ambitions. We're really out here for it, and we're trying to make a change by also, playing with everyone. We're trying to be more inclusive, and I love that for us. I think that this is going to be a better year because we're learning that together we make a better and stronger circle than when we're apart and trying to figure it out. Reach out. Asking for help is not a weakness. It's actually super empowering, and it can make a world of difference. And that's something I'm learning too. I don't know how to. I've seen a meme that they're carrying a coffin, and then like my toxic trait is thinking I could do everything by myself. So here I am gonna go bury myself. That's how I am. Got it. And so, but this year, we have to help, and I'm gonna try to do that as well with all of you amazing women across Texas.
Yes, amazing. And then I'm going to give a shout out to Nick Sally. So Nick Sally is representing Austin, you guys. She said bi-monthly or quarterly discussions, rest as resistance for women entrepreneurs. We should be talking about leaning into third spaces as mental and spiritual health resources. And then she said Issue Voter is a great app to track if your reps voted the way you asked. So Issue Voter is a great app. Okay, Leah, final thoughts, inspiration, strategy, piece of advice, whatever you want to close out with.
My final thought and piece of advice is to choose women. Train your family, your kids, your friends to always choose women-owned businesses. That's something that I make a point of. When I needed to hire a contractor to oversee this multi-million-dollar renovation, I hired a woman, a Latina. My primary care physician, Latina. my office manager, Latina, where I'm going to go eat dinner tonight, woman-owned restaurant. Little decisions like that in your everyday life, train your family, train your kids, train your friends to keep making those conscious decisions to choose women-owned businesses.
I love that. Y'all know that's my jam. All day, every day. I love that. So amazing. Oh, no problem, MK. See you soon. Okay, Sarah, last but not least, final thoughts, inspiration, strategy you want to leave before we wrap up? Because I know we're way over.
Yeah, I'm going to make it quick. So I think as a business owner or serial entrepreneur, we try to do everything ourselves, especially as women. We have this like toxic hyper independence trait. And not all of us. Some of us are, learning and growing. But I think do the thing that brings you joy in your business and outsource everything else. Outsource to women, outsource to people in your circle. Like you don't have to do it all. Your time could be more valuable doing the things that make you happy and bring you joy, which is why you started the business to begin with, instead of trying to do the things that like give you anxiety or you don't know how to do and you have to figure out, which end up making you resent your business, which carries a negative energy and vibration into the business and what you're putting out into the world. So
I love
outsource.
Love it. Well, thank y'all so much. I know we ran over, but this was just incredible. And I think based on the comments I'm seeing that we definitely need to have more of these ongoing conversations. Excited for what you all are building this year. You know, we are a resource, of course, here to help out. If y'all have anything you're going on, please let us know so we can help get the word out. But thank y'all so much for having a conversation. And thanks to everybody tuned in from multiple platforms and multiple channels. If you registered, you'll get linked to the report. If not, no worries. We'll have it all published on our Facebook, Instagram, everywhere tomorrow morning. So thank y'all so much. Have a great day. Would you like to say Happy New Year?
Bye.
Bye, y'all.